Hey there, I'm Janet Galasso. I'm an artist, I'm an art teacher, and I'm starting a whole new YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to take you guys into my kitchen as we create some air dry clay. I know that it's not been easy to get things done here while we're home on quarantine. In fact, it happens to be day 47 of our quarantine right here in Connecticut. As an art teacher, I've been looking for things to do at my art classes, knowing we have to work with the supplies that they have at home. So today I'm going to be doing a demo on air dry clay, which is something anybody can do for out of their homes using some basic kitchen supplies. For this salt dough clay recipe, you'll need 4 items. You'll need water, salt, flour, and a little bit of food coloring. You'll notice I use gluten-free flour in this recipe only because it's what I had at home, and I also just happen to have sea salt at home, which I kind of cringe on because the table salt would have been so much better for the recipe, and the sea salt would have been so much better for my cooking. However, when you're under quarantine, you do what you gotta do. You'll also find later on the recipe I add a little extra water and a little extra oil just to help with the cracking. I advise you to have it on hand just in case you need it. So, what do you think about my hat? I'm in character here. So, today, I have never made air dry clay before, so this is my very first time, as it probably will be for you. And I chose not to prep it ahead of time because A, I don't know if I have enough salt to do 2 batches, and I just can't run to the store. And B, I think it's just more funny if you see me do it in person because there might be some good outtakes from it. So, ingredients. You're going to need a few things for this first air dry clay recipe. This is the salt dough recipe, and I have to make a disclaimer. Don't feed it to your dog, as we know, we have learned it is toxic. Not by experience, I just happen to read it online. What you need is 2 cups of flour. I happen to have some gluten-free flour because I figured when I'm done making my air dry clay, I might want to make some brownies afterwards, right? I have some salt. I'm going to need 2 3/4 cups of salt, okay? So I happen to have sea salt. I almost feel bad using this in air dry clay, but we're on quarantine and I can't go to the supermarket, so there we go. I got some salt, right? And I have some water. I'm going to have 3/4 cups of water, right? So I'm going to pour that right in and mix it together. And then, for extra flair, I have some food coloring. So you can put a few drops in there. And probably the more drops you use, the darker your clay is going to get. Let's dig in. Alright, so we have 3 ingredients, right? We have flour, we have salt, we have water. And whenever I like to do my recipes, I like to do the water first. Any of the liquids come first. So I'm going to get 3/4 cup of water, okay? And I'm going to pour that into the middle. Okay, I'm going to take my salt. I'll do that next so it dissolves. I'm going to take some salt and put it into, let's see if I can pour it in. I need 3/4 cup of salt, which might use my whole stash here, but let's see what happens. I think I should put that on time lapse. Hold on. So I forgot to hit the play button or the record button when I was doing my last bit of salt, but we have 3/4 cup of salt in here, and then I added a bunch of red food dye. I figured since liquid with liquid, I made it red first, then we'll see what happens when I add the flour and see if it mixes all in. So we'll try that next. Alright guys, as you can see I add a little bit more oil to my hands. I found that as I was making the air dry clay, which isn't looking so bad right now, because I was using the sea salt versus the ionized salt, I found that the salt didn't mix in with the flour as well as it should have right away. So I had to add a little bit more water to it, and I added a bit of oil. So if you're finding that your clay is cracking, here, I'll stand back here so you can see it. If you're finding that your clay is cracking, what you might want to do is add a little bit of oil to your hand. So I put like a little coconut oil in, I use for cooking, and then it's made it feel so much more like the clay we use at school. So yeah, so I'm going to hold on to this. I want to make sure it stays well and doesn't, you know, get gross or funky. So what I'm going to do is I have a seafood container that's been washed out. You can get these from like when you order takeout. I'm going to put it into here and then put it in my fridge until I'm ready to make my stop motion animation. And actually it fits perfectly. Nice. So it's meant to be. So, being this is my very first YouTube in quite a while, there are some time lapses in there from quite a while ago. If you liked what you saw and you want to see more, I hope you'll like and subscribe. We'll try to build an audience here and teach you guys how to make art out of things out of your house and just like follow the artistic journey I'm starting here on this channel. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you soon.